Hello everyone, this is Samiya Mahtab, student of B.Ed Semester 4 from Vasudev Girls Degree College. The topic I am going to discuss today is RTE, or Right to Education or Right to Free and Compulsory Education for students aged 6 to 14 years in India. Now let us have a brief introduction on the same. The Right of the Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act or Right to Education Act RTE is an act of the Parliament of India enacted on 4th August 2009, which describes the modalities of the importance of free and compulsory education for children between the age of 6 to 14 years in India under the Article 21A of Indian Constitution. With this, India became one of 135 countries to make education a fundamental right of every child when the Act came into force on 1st April 2010. Now let's understand in detail the meaning of word free and word compulsory used here. Free education means that one child other than a child who has been admitted by his or her parent to a school which is not supported by an appropriate government shall be liable to pay any kind of fee or charges or expenses which may prevent him or her from pursuing and completing elementary education. Further, compulsory education casts an obligation on an appropriate government and local authorities to provide and ensure admission, attendance and completion of elementary education by all children in the 6 to 14 aged groups. To the next topic, let's briefly look through the history of RT. Due cognizance was taken by the framers of the Constitution that every child of our country should have a right to education. Thus, in Part 4, Article 45 of Indian Constitution, under the directive principle of state, it was mentioned that it shall be the duty of government to provide education to children up to the age of 14. However, no real cognizance was taken by ruling governments until 52 years of Constitution coming into force. Finally, the Constitutional Amendment of 2002 included the Article 21A in the Indian Constitution making education a fundamental right. This amendment, however, specified the need of legislation to describe the mode of implementation of the same, which necessitated the drafting of a separate bill. It is the 86th Amendment in the Indian Constitution. A rough draft of the bill was prepared in 2005. So, that was all about the history of RT. Now let's have a look at the various steps involved in the passage of the bill. The bill was approved by the Cabinet on 2nd July 2009, cleared by both the Houses of Parliament by 4th August 2009. It received presidential assent and was notified as a law on 26 August 2009 as the Children's Right to Free and Compulsory Education Act. The law came into effect on 1st April 2010. This law came into effect in the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It recently came into act in Kashmir after it turned into a union territory of India in 2019. Also, this was the first time in the history of India that a law was brought into force by a speech by then PM Manmohan Singh. Now moving to the most important part of the topic, let's discuss in detail the salient features of RT. Point number 1 says right to free and compulsory education, which means every child in the age group of 6 to 14 has a right to free and compulsory education in a neighborhood school till the completion of elementary education. Point number 2 says 25% quota for unprivileged section of the society in private school, which says private schools will have to take 25% of their class strength from the weaker section and the disadvantaged group of the society through a random selection process. Government will fund education of these children. Point number 3 says no donation and capitation fee is allowed. Point number 4 says no admission test or interview either for child or parent. Point number 5 says compulsory promotion, which means no child can be held back, expelled and required to pass the board examination till the completion of elementary education. Point number 6 says a fixed student and teacher ratio is to be maintained. So the silent features continued. Point number 7 says all schools have to adhere to rules and regulations laid down in this Act, failing which the school will not be allowed to function. 3 years moratorium period has to be provided to school to implement all that is required for them. Point number 8 says norms for teachers' training and qualifications are also clearly mentioned in the Act. Point number 9 says all schools except private unaided schools are to be managed by school management committees with 75% parent and guardians as members. Swami Vivekananda once said, "First educate the nation, even for social reforms, the first duty is to educate the people." RTE is undoubtedly a strong step towards the same. That's all from my end. Thank you.